Well, hello, Grace Point Church family. I just want to give you a brief update concerning our church and just an opportunity that you have to connect with others from our church family. Now, I realize this is a monologue, not a dialogue that you are watching. I wish we could dialogue together, but with things opening up here in our province, we're going to have more opportunities to connect with one another, to group and to gather together. And I'm looking forward to that. These last 2 years, we've all been disconnected. We've been socially isolated, but we are ready to launch some new affinity groups here at Grace Point Church. In the weeks, the months ahead, we are going to be launching affinity groups. Now you may be wondering, Rick, what are affinity groups? Well, affinity groups are Grace Pointers getting together on a regular basis around a shared common interest. Let me say that again. It's Grace Pointers getting together on a regular basis around a shared common interest. And in fact, this week you will receive a survey in your inbox, and there's going to be a list of 10 possible groups that we can launch in the weeks, the months ahead. And maybe as you hear this list, you think, yeah, I'd be interested in that. Here are the 10 that our leaders thought would be most likely that Grace Pointers would respond to. A walking group, hiking group, biking group, dinner group, book group, arts or crafts group, custom car group, gardening group, sports activity group, a care group where you serve others in practical ways. Now, as I read that list, you may think, yeah, I'm kind of interested in one of those. Or maybe you think, no, you're missing what I would really enjoy doing. Maybe it's a woodworking group or a baking group or a kayaking group. Heck, many Sundays after church in the summer, I hear of Grace Pointers that are going stand-up paddleboarding. Whatever it may be, there's an opportunity you can fill in another group. And we will try and connect Grace Pointers with one another. Personally, I like that idea of the supper club. Now, you may be wondering, do these affinity groups, are they going to replace our existing discipleship groups? The answer is no. We're going to continue to have D groups here at Grace Point. We're going to continue to promote those. We'll continue to form new D groups. We will add people to our existing discipleship groups. We will do that. And we'll continue to do our core groups. You know, we have launched a number of triads and quads during COVID, and we'll continue to do that. Affinity groups are just one other way of Grace Pointers connecting with one another. Now, some of you may have some practical questions. You're wondering, like, who's the leader of the group going to be? Because let's face it, something like a walking group or a hiking group, different people have different definitions, right? Has anybody ever asked you to go for a walk, but what they really meant was a hike? You know? And some of you may be wondering, well, how often is the group going to meet? You know, you have something else on Wednesday night. That doesn't work for you. You know? We'll figure these things out. These are new groups that are launching. And so we will figure those details as we go ahead. Some of you may be wondering, well, can I invite a friend to these groups? Absolutely. You know, maybe you go fishing with a buddy, you know, and you'd like to see what other Grace Pointers are into fishing, or you go to the dog park with a neighbor and you're thinking, yeah, well, who else goes to the dog park with their pet? In that way, our groups, our affinity groups, can be both part of our in mission that we're doing life together and also part of the out mission, you know, and so we look forward to that. A staff member or an LT member will guide the formation of these groups. And personally, I see everything through a disciple-making lens. You know, just before COVID, our LT and our staff had gotten together here on a Saturday, and we did some visioning and talked about our core values. And this had come about after we had spent a few months examining the New Testament church and what are the core values there and how our church compares to the church in the Bible. We talked about what are our actual values, what are our aspirational values. And I remember that conversation well. Because some of us thought that disciple making is one of our actual values. Some of us thought, no, it's an aspirational value for us. But I remember we all agreed that relationships is something that defines Grace Point Church. That's one of our actual values. We enjoy being together. Now you might ask, well, how does disciple making happen while people are doing woodwork together or cooking together or doing gardening together? Disciple making happens in the context of relationship. We often think that it involves information, but information is secondary to relationship. Discipleship happens at the speed of relationship. See, if I'm in relationship with God and in relationship with others, disciple making will very naturally happen in that context. It begins with relationship. And so I look forward to us launching some groups around things that we enjoy doing. You know, we probably won't have like a strata group, because who enjoys going to strata meetings? I know I've heard some horror stories around strata meetings, unless we do like a support group for those of you who've served as president of your strata. But when we enjoy doing things, it's not a duty to go and be a part of that group. Haven't you found that to be true? I mean, this past winter, I played tennis on Wednesday nights at 9:30 to 11 p.m. in Langley. The time isn't the best time, because by the time I got home, got showered, it's after midnight by the time I'm in bed, and I got to get up early for work the next day. But I went every single Wednesday night this winter. Why? I enjoy tennis. And I look forward to you connecting with some others around things that you enjoy doing, some interest that you have. And it'll be great to share stories of what God has said or God has done in our lives over these last 2 years as we've been disconnected. So as the survey comes into your inbox this week, I'd ask you just take 5 minutes and fill in that survey, check off 1 or 2 groups that you are interested in, or write in another group. Hey, there's no geocaching group, or something else that you may be interested in being a part of, karaoke, whatever it may be. And we will look at connecting Grace Pointers one with another. I'm, like I said, looking forward to the supper club. You get a chance to try Sheila's New York cheesecake, which she's been perfecting over COVID. And whatever the group looks like for you, and you might think, well, I'm not ready for that yet, to be in somebody's home. That's okay. This will happen over time. We'll probably begin with our outdoor groups first, as things warm up and we're all comfortable meeting outdoors. But we have a bright future together, and I'm looking forward to that, friends. If you've got any questions or any comments, please reach out to us on that. And I look forward to us reconnecting and re-engaging together in these days ahead.